endocytosis is an important cell function. It's when substances and molecules enter the cell through the cell's membrane. Endocytosis is important and vital for the cell's survival because most chemical substances and molecules that are important to the cell are large polar molecules and cannot pass through the plasma or cell membrane by passive transport. But receptor-mediated endocytosis is a type of endocytosis where the substances and molecules entering the cell are regulated and identified by receptors on the cell before entering. So, how does receptor-mediated endocytosis work? The cell membrane is covered in receptors. Substances and molecules around the cell membrane wanting to enter the cell will cling to these receptors. An example here would be a hormone like estrogen. Estrogen wants to enter the cell, so it clings to the cell's receptors. The cell's receptors on its membrane will identify the substances that cling to them. They are important because they regulate what comes into the cell, and they protect the cell, because if a substance is identified as harmful, then they reject the substance and it is not let through the cell's membrane. When the receptors identify a substance as good, then they will allow it to enter the membrane. Estrogen is an example of a substance that the cell's receptors will identify as good, and it would be let through the membrane by the receptors because it would not harm the cell. As estrogen enters the membrane, a vesicle will form around it. The vesicle is then approached by an endosome. The vesicle and endosome join together, and the receptor and substances are separated from each other. The receptor moves back up to the membrane to go back to its place. The substance, which in this case is estrogen, is then taken to the lysosome where it can be broken down so it can be used by the cell. So basically, receptor-mediated endocytosis is where receptors around the cell's membrane allow good substances to enter the cell so they can be broken down by the lysosome and used by the cell.